Have you ever heard of a throne so powerful that an entire empire went to war just to protect it? A throne that no one, not even the king, was allowed to sit on? This isn't a fantasy story. This is the incredible true tale of the Golden Stool of the Ashanti Kingdom, a symbol of a people's soul that could not be conquered. Deep in West Africa, in what is now modern-day Ghana, the mighty Ashanti Empire flourished. At its heart was not a palace, not a treasure vault, but an object of immense spiritual power, the Sika Dwa Kofi, or the Golden Stool. Legend says this stool descended from the heavens, landing gently in the lap of the first Ashanti king. It wasn't made of solid gold, but was covered in it, and it was said to hold the Sumsum, the spirit, the unity and the very soul of the entire Ashanti nation. This wasn't just a piece of furniture. It was the living embodiment of their past, present, and future. It represented the collective strength and identity of every Ashanti man, woman, and child. The king, known as the Asantewaa, was its guardian, not its owner. He had his own throne to sit on. The Golden Stool, however, always had its own chair, placed right beside the king, treated with more reverence than any human being. To lose it would be to lose their identity, their history, everything that made them who they were. It was a powerful reminder that their unity was their greatest treasure. But in the year 1900, this sacred tradition faced its greatest threat. The British Empire, expanding its colonial reach, had its eyes on the Ashanti lands. The newly appointed British governor, Sir Frederick Hodgson, arrived with an air of superiority. He saw the Ashanti as subjects to be ruled, not a proud nation with a rich culture. He heard whispers of this powerful Golden Stool and, in his ignorance, saw it only as a symbol of royal authority, a shiny chair for a king. At a public gathering with the Ashanti chiefs, Hodgson made a demand that would echo through history. I am the representative of the paramount power. Why have you relegated me to this ordinary chair? The silence that followed was deafening. To the Ashanti, this was more than an insult. It was a declaration of war on their very soul. It was like asking a nation to hand over its heart. He didn't just want their land or their gold. He wanted to sit on their spirit, to crush their identity under his weight. The line had been drawn. The arrogance of one man had pushed an entire kingdom to the brink. In the tense days that followed, the Ashanti chiefs gathered in secret. They were caught between a rock and a hard place. They knew what Hodgson's demand meant, but they also knew the overwhelming military might of the British Empire. To fight seemed like suicide. Fear and doubt began to creep in. Some argued for negotiation, for finding a way to appease the governor without giving up the stool. The men, the traditional leaders and warriors, hesitated. The future of their nation hung in the balance, paralyzed by fear. It was in this moment of uncertainty that a figure of incredible courage stepped into the light. Yaa Asantewaa, the queen mother of Ejisu, a region within the kingdom. She was a woman in her 60s, a grandmother, but her spirit was forged in fire. Seeing the men waver, she rose to her feet. Her voice, filled with passion and fury, cut through the tension. She delivered a speech that would become legendary. Is it true that the bravery of the Ashanti is no more? I cannot believe it. It cannot be. I must say this. If you, the men of Ashanti, will not go forward, then we will. We, the women, will. I shall call upon my fellow women. We will fight the white men. We will fight till the last of us falls on the battlefield. Her words were like lightning. She shamed their fear and ignited their pride. She reminded them that leadership isn't about gender or age, but about courage in the face of impossible odds. In that moment, Yaa Asantewaa was no longer just a queen mother. She became the commander-in-chief, the spirit of Ashanti resistance personified. The chiefs, inspired and ashamed, pledged their allegiance to her. The decision was made. They would fight. The War of the Golden Stool had begun. What followed was not a typical colonial conflict. It was a desperate, brutal war fought for a spiritual cause. Led by Yaa Asantewaa, the Ashanti forces laid siege to the British fort in Kumasi, where Governor Hodgson and his troops were trapped. This wasn't a war for territory or resources. The Ashanti warriors fought with a ferocity that stunned the British. They were fighting for something intangible, something the colonial power could never understand, the right to exist as a people. Yaa Asantewaa was a brilliant strategist. She coordinated attacks, managed supply lines, and inspired her fighters daily. For months, the small Ashanti army held the might of the British Empire at bay. They used their knowledge of the dense forest terrain to their advantage, launching guerrilla-style attacks that frustrated and demoralized the technologically superior British forces. Every battle was a testament to their resolve. They were willing to sacrifice their lives, not for a king or for gold, but for the sacred symbol that bound them all together. The war was a brutal, bloody affair, but it was also a powerful declaration: you can occupy our land, but you will never conquer our soul. Eventually, the sheer numbers and firepower of the British Empire proved too much. Reinforcements arrived, broke the siege, and began a ruthless campaign to crush the rebellion. The war, known to the British as the War of the Golden Stool, officially ended with a British military victory. Yaa Asantewaa and many of the other Ashanti leaders were captured and exiled to the far-off Seychelles Islands, never to see their homeland again. On the surface, it looked like a total defeat. The rebellion was quashed, its leader imprisoned. Governor Hodgson may have believed he had won, but he had failed in his primary objective. The British searched everywhere, torturing villagers and tearing apart sacred sites, but they never found it. The Golden Stool was gone. While the war raged, a small dedicated group of Ashanti had secretly taken the stool and hidden it deep in the forest, in a place so secret that its location was known to only a handful of people. The physical war may have been lost, and its heroes captured, but the spiritual victory was won. The soul of the nation, the Sikadwa Kofi, remained free. They had protected what truly mattered. For over 20 years the Golden Stool remained hidden. The British eventually gave up their search, and the Ashanti nation, though under colonial rule, kept its spirit alive in secret. The knowledge that their sacred stool was safe gave them the strength to endure. Finally, in the 1920s, after tensions had eased, the stool was revealed by the Ashanti themselves. Yaa Asantewaa died in exile, but her legacy is immortal. She is remembered as one of Africa's greatest heroines, a symbol of courage and resistance against colonial oppression. And the Golden Stool? It remains where it has always been, at the heart of the Ashanti people in Ghana, a sacred emblem of their unbreakable unity and enduring identity.